Staff changes. Saints hire quarterback coach Kubiak and complete control of offenses from OTB. Bob and Jacob Hester reacting to the news of quarterback coach Andrew Janocko being hired. We reacted to it on the channel a few days ago. Let's hear what they have to say. We'll react accordingly.
Klint Kubiak is going to be the Saints' next offensive coordinator, and the deal is not officially done, but the Saints did hire a quarterbacks coach, Andrew Janocko. I'm not exactly sure the pronunciation. The deal he
actually, I'm not sure either. I believe it's Janocko. I went with Janocko. I'm going to continue saying Janocko. I'm all in on Janocko. If it was Janocko or something different, I'm never going to admit wrongdoing. I'm never going to change it. So it's Andrew Janocko from me moving forward.
Here is, Jake, this has to, like, surely Kubiak's the one who made this hire, right?
Yeah.
Because
probably.
they basically changed over the entire staff to allow him to rebuild it however he wants. You look up Janocko's resume. He was a quarterbacks coach in Chicago.
Yep, I think so. I think this is definitely a Kubiak hire. I think this is definitely something that he made the call for. Whether it was as simple as he knew all along he wanted this guy, or I don't know how much planning they went into it as far as like Kubiak being named Saints OC to hiring this guy. But I would 100% say this was straight from Kubiak.
Chicago last year, but just a couple of years ago, he was with Kubiak in Minnesota. They worked together where he was I think he was a wide receivers coach and then QB coach in Minnesota. But yes, like if you have any fears about like the Kubiak deal falling apart at the last minute or not getting done, this would be a move that would kind of smush those fears, because this was not made without Kubiak being the one that basically signed off and this is the guy that I want.
Yeah, I think also talking about like who's hiring who or whatever, I've still seen a lot of people saying they're concerned that they think Dennis Allen is going to have his hand on the offense. Guys, look, I don't know how much more evidence y'all need. Dennis Allen is not have his hands on this offense. I mean, this hire right here, don't look at me like that, T-Bob. This hire right here is evidence that they're cleaning house. They're saying, okay, we're getting rid of anything that has to do with the old version of the Saints. And Klint Kubiak, you can go in and hire whatever young guys, whoever you've worked with, whoever you want. This is not a Dennis Allen hire. This doesn't look like a Dennis Allen hire. This doesn't smell like a Dennis Allen hire. This doesn't sound like a Dennis Allen hire. It ain't a Dennis Allen hire. Y'all hear the sirens? This is the middle of Mardi Gras. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear the siren? I mean, what's going on out there? I just don't understand it. How many moon pies do people need? Who's eating this many banana moon pies to where we have to have the entire police force outside of the studio windows blaring their sirens so people can scoop up moon pies and bags of mini pretzels that have been stomped on by parade goers? But a Mike Sullivan or a retread coach like that, John Gruden, whoever, that could have been like, okay, maybe Dennis Allen does have some say in who's being hired here. These young coordinators who have no ties to Allen at all, but they have ties to Kubiak, that tells you all you need to know about where the Saints are moving forward offensively. This is Kubiak's show. This is going to be Kubiak's show and whatever assistants, whatever team he builds around him. But Dennis Allen, I think, wants to be defense only. I think he wants to be hands on the defense, really focus on the defense. Yeah, he's the head coach. Sure. He's still going to have a say in the final, if we call timeouts and stuff, for sure. But I would say it's going to be very similar to like a Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson scenario where, in Detroit, Ben Johnson's, he's given full control over that offense. And Dan Campbell's is there as a leader and a figurehead and all of that. I think it'll be very similar in New Orleans.
Very exciting times for the Saints offense. You look at the pair that they're bringing in compared to who is leaving, and I just think this is going to be a more creative offense, more diversity to the offense, more pre-snap movement to the offense, all the things that we were asking for the Saints to be able to get done a year ago. Now, you've got some things to work out as far as personnel and where you play some of that personnel, who's going to be a part of the team.
Yeah, and that won't be fixed this offseason. We're not going to have the perfect personnel, the perfect offense of the players there on offense to orchestrate the scheme, not for a little bit. And that's fine. That's to be expected. But like Jacob said, just the fact that we have Pete Carmichael and Ronald Curry out and we have Klint Kubiak and Andrew Janocko in, Just that alone gives me so much optimism for where we're moving forward. Just the idea of like getting new, getting fresh, getting young. I mean, we're talking, what are they, 38 and 36? That is, or might be Janocko might be 35. Is Kubiak 36? Is it 36 and 35? I mean, that's crazy that we're going from this super. Like, think about how stale Pete Carmichael was as an OC. You're talking about a guy who's been in the same building, in the same job, doing the same thing for almost 2 decades, 15, 16 years. Same thing. Not evolving, not innovating at all. Doing absolutely nothing, okay? Ronald Curry, just a disciple of that same tree. And now you're bringing in 2 people from outside with no ties or bias to the former regime, with new ideas, fresh ideas off of one of the most innovative coaching trees possible. The same tree that gave birth to Mike McDaniel's offense and Sean McVay's offense and what they're doing in San Francisco. I mean, Kubiak may flame out. He may not be a good coordinator. I don't know. He might not know be able to handle game management, whatever. And if he's not, I'll be the first one on here to tell you about it. But just the idea that we are evolving, we want to push forward, we want to change, we're going with this youth movement, that alone gives me optimism. Because the last thing you want your franchise to do is just stay pat. The last thing you want your franchise to do is just retread old ideas, be scared of risk, be scared of moving forward. I would rather take a risk and fail than not take a risk at all. And we're taking a risk. So we preach it all the time here. Don't be results-oriented. Same situation. Don't be results-oriented. I've seen people say Kubiak will be average. He's a mid-offensive coordinator. He won't be that great. Don't get your hopes up. Y'all are looking at this the wrong way. It's nothing. You're too focused on Kubiak. You got to focus on the philosophy. You got to focus on the idea. The idea is we're changing. The idea is what we've had for the last couple of years ain't good enough. That alone is reason for me to have optimism. That alone is reason for me to say the ownership, the front office, whoever's making these decisions, they have the right goal in mind. So hop on board. It's time to get fired up.
Team, because you've got a situation where you've got some disgruntled employees. We all know that, but this is a step in the right direction.
Yes,
I like the move. I think that Kubiak's ready for this time.
I like that
He's been with Shanahan. And I think he's got a game plan to get the weapons that the Saints have, which they're good. They have good weapons. Sure. Now you got to get more out of Derek Carr. You have to get what you got out of Derek Carr at the end of the year for the totality of a season.
Yes.
He's making enough money to be able to ask that of him.
Yeah.
And so if you can get that.
Yep, no doubt. You're right. First of all, big fan of that jacket. Might be getting me one soon. I like the color block kind of situation here, like an Oreo cookie, but in reverse. Double stuffed. No offense. But I mean, look, Derek Carr, I said it and I'll say it again. I'll say it a million times if I have to. We brought Derek Carr in here to be good as a base, as a foundation, to be great some of the time, and to be elite on occasion, right? That's what we want Derek Carr to do. We're not asking Derek Carr to be the best quarterback in the NFL, but we're not asking him to be below average or average all the time. All right? The baseline for Carr needs to be good. We need to have a good quarterback, which I think Carr can do. Then if Kubiak can extract some of that great from him, where he's good all the time, he's great some of the time, and then he's elite on those occasions where he has to be, if we get that, this offense will fly.
That from him, right? You can get the receiver room right, and everybody's kumbaya and happy, and maybe they can't get that done, but you still have pieces even if you don't. You got to get Alvin Kamara back on track, though.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, Kubiak feels like that he could take the lessons learned.
Yeah, Kubiak, I mean, look, if there's one system that you want to try and get a player like Alvin Kamara on track, it's a guy from the system that has Christian McCaffrey. They are carbon copies of each other, skill set wise, production wise. We've done the comparison here before. Kamara arguably has been better in his career, so a lot of people don't want to hear that. But if Alvin Kamara can just do what Christian McCaffrey's doing as far as like how the system is laid out, not saying like results wise, I mean, I don't think Kamara is going to lead the league in rushing next year, but if he's asked to do what McCaffrey's being asked to do in San Francisco, that perfect. I mean, a lot of people talk about Carr. A lot of people, this is about to be a powerful statement. a lot of people talk about Carr fitting Kubiak's system, but no one's talking about how well Alvin Kamara fits the system, that 49ers system. So all the focus, all the looks, all the fingers are pointing at Derek Carr, but even more of a reason to be optimistic is what it can do for Alvin Kamara. I mean, this can really unlock our best player. Just like San Francisco, Christian McCaffrey's their best player. They run through McCaffrey. They don't run through Brock Purdy. The Saints need to run through Alvin Kamara, not Derek Carr. And no one else is going to say that. But Carr's getting paid $150 million. He's the franchise quarterback. It is what it is. He's not the best player on the field. Alvin Kamara is the best player on our offense. So we need to run it through that. Good news. The guy we have coming in, the guy we have calling the offense, he just came from the exact system that replicates what we need.
In the revitalization of CMC and this 49er offense, like, it's very easy to see why they become so attractive for the Saints.
And this also means that the Saints are probably going to utilize a fullback. So sign me up for all of that. I mean, I know they've had him on the roster, but Prentice was kind of up and down, and sometimes he played.
No, Prentice nearly killed the position last year.
Yeah.
It sucks, but like
we're gonna see like a real.
San Francisco does a lot. I mean, if we are doing, Kyle Juszczyk is huge in San Francisco. They do utilize the fullback. They do utilize tight ends. They do utilize wide receivers as blockers. So they'll, the wide receivers will be asked to block more in New Orleans. But if all that does come on over, and we say fullback, there may be some halfback, some tried and true running backs that can fill that role. Taysom may be able to fill that role. Who knows? I don't know if we're going to go get I don't know if we're going to sort by position like it's Madden and sort by fullback. We may be trying to find running backs or whoever that can kind of fill that role.
Real fullback there in New Orleans.
Like, Prentice actually could have been awesome, but all I remember him for is the fumble. It's like a deep snapper. You just can't.
That wasn't really his fault, though.
It was his fault. What a horrible play. You got to be perfect.
Yeah.
You're going to be fullback. Ronald Curry, tied into this news, of course, the former Saints quarterback coach, was actually offered the wide receiver job, but turned it down because, quarterbacks coaches in the hierarchy of coaching jobs, QB coach above wide receiver, and he is now going to the Buffalo Bills, going to be the Bills quarterback coach. So Ronald Curry going to be working with Josh Allen. But
it is kind of funny that the first report coming out of the Curry situation was from the Saints, and the Saints said, we tried to retain Curry, and I thought that meant they offered Curry the quarterback job, but Curry didn't want to do that, because he was passed on for OC. But then it comes out that the Saints offered him the wide receiver coach job. So basically, not only passing on him for OC, but then demoting him to wide receiver coach. So, I don't blame Curry for leaving at all, and he's landed in a good spot with Joe Brady in Buffalo.
It's reunited with Joe Brady. They spent time there in New Orleans together, I'm sure.
There you go. But either way, look, I don't think I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know that the Janocko hire is like particularly exciting or awesome. But it is a hire that points towards Klint Kubiak being the guy, and the Kubiak hire is relatively exciting, potentially at least. It feels like
100%. Like it's less about Janocko, it's less about Kubiak, it's more about this philosophy of this like youth movement, new coaches, new ideas, all that. That's what's exciting. Is Andrew Janocko and Klint Kubiak that exciting on their own? No. But there's much more than just the names and the resumes and all that.
Like it. So we'll see, man. You got 1 year. That's what's crazy. Everybody that Kubiak convinces to sign up basically has to do so with the understanding that, like, we either make the playoffs or we're probably all going to be looking for a job and moving again at this time next year.
I mean, that's assuming that Allen gets fired, they bring in a new head coach who then brings in his new coordinators. That's what T-Bob was trying to say right there. He's not saying that if Kubiak is not great or the offense isn't great that they're going to fire the coordinators. He's talking about Allen and then the trickle-down effect.
Yeah, and the Saints had to go make a splash hire. This feels like a splash hire, and I think it's the right person for the personnel that you have.
Agreed.
So I am excited about the guys that they're bringing in. You're not going to get a full back breakdown of who's a free agent on any other show, so let me give it to you right here. Trayvon Wesco from Tennessee played really well last year. Only 28 years old. Go get him. Go sign him. He's the best free agent fullback on the market. That's all.
Sure. Go get him.
Fullback.
How much is a free agent fullback? Like, what do you think he get paid?
Probably like
$40,000.
A really, really good one. Probably, but
at the Superdome, probably gift card for $50 gift card to the Dome Dog stand. Maybe 32 ounces of Dippin' Dots. probably like a couple of those sleeves of the roasted pecans, and then maybe like $40,000 in credit to the team store.
Between 1.2 and 1.8 per year.
Yeah, Saints can make that work.
Oh yeah. I mean, Prentice was making $940 last year.
Wow, just
Unbelievable.
amazing black.
Unreal. Good stuff from the boys. But again, guys, the philosophy. Don't get caught up in Janocko or Kubiak, and don't get caught up in Kubiak's resume, and don't get caught up in all that. Don't get on their Wikipedia page. I don't want people copy and pasting the Wikipedia page and sending it to me and saying, oh, well, look here, Kubiak was only in Minnesota for 10 months, and during those 10 months, their record was this. None of that matters. Okay? Throw all that in the trash. What matters is the Saints are moving forward. The Saints have a plan. The Saints have a vision. It's a good vision. It's a good plan. I'm on board. I love it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.